Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee L, we're going to be checking out the Blue Ox Avail tow bar. Before we jump right in, I figured I'd touch base on one of the big questions that a lot of people ask when it comes to setting up their vehicle to flat tow it. And that's, what parts am I going to need? So there's going to be a total of 5 main components. The first one's a base plate, which allows you to hook up your tow bar, which is the second component. That's the link connecting the motorhome to your vehicle. Third main part will be safety cables, and these are just there in the event of an unlikely disconnect, keep everything paired together. Fourth main part will be tow bar wiring, and that'll just transfer the lighting functions from the back of your coach to the back of your Jeep. And last but not least, the fifth main part will be a supplemental braking system. What that'll do is apply the brakes in your Jeep whenever you hit the brakes in your coach, bringing you to a more predictable and safe stop. With that out of the way though, let's talk tow bars, right? So there's a lot of different tow bars out on the market, and things can kind of get overwhelming when you're going to pick one out. And with the Avail here, this is definitely one of the more premier tow bars. It's a really nice piece, and there's a couple of big things that I always suggest looking out for when you're trying to decide on what tow bar you want. And that is, how easy is it going to be to hook up and use, and how's it going to pull your vehicle down the road. So we'll get into some of the ease of use stuff. Regardless if you go with this tow bar or a different one, I highly recommend picking one that is non-binding, and the Avail is. So more or less what that means, whenever you get to where you're going and you go to unhook your Jeep, a lot of times when you try to pull the pin and detach everything, it's super tight and you can't get it to break loose. And if that happens to you, with this Avail here, it's not really a big deal. You have these levers and you'll push those down, and that'll release all that tension and make it super easy to unhook. How the tow bar is actually going to work is really straightforward. It's a quick connect essentially. So when you're ready to unhook, you'll just have this pin here, and pull that one out, and that's really all there is to it. And when you go to set it up, just do the opposite, line everything up and push everything through. So definitely not involved at all. And the tow bar is going to be compatible with Blue Ox base plates like we have here today on our Jeep, but there are Roadmaster base plates available for the Grand Cherokee L, and if that's what you have and you end up wanting to use this tow bar, you can make it work. You can pair them together by changing out the end here. There's some adapters that you can pick up, swap the ends out, and be able to mate everything together. Whenever you are flat towing, you're going to want a good experience, right? And a lot of that has to do with how your vehicle is going to track or get pulled behind your motorhome. And the tow bar has a lot to do with that. And we've heard a lot of good things about this one, which makes sense, because like I said, it's a more premier style tow bar. And I think it does a really good job for a couple of reasons, really. One of them being that it's relatively long. So by having a little bit more space between the front of your Jeep and the back of your motorhome, that's going to make maneuvering a little bit easier, when you're going around tight spots and things like that. And it'll just kind of help keep everything true whenever you're going straight as well. Another reason that I can think of, at least, is this is really heavy duty, one of the stronger ones out on the market. It has a 10,000 pound weight capacity, so more than enough for the Grand Cherokee L. And I feel like because of that, being overbuilt, it's probably going to handle the road shock and potholes, bumps a little bit better than some of the more light duty tow bars. The Avail is going to come with some extras, I guess you could call it, as well. It's going to come included with your safety cables, which is nice. It's one less thing you're not going to have to worry about picking up separately and figuring out what actually works. So you know that they're the right length, the right style, the right capacities, so on and so forth. And with the Avail, there's no channels or no cable management system or anything like that built into this tow bar. So if you end up going with this one and you're picking out tow bar wiring, you're going to want a umbilical like we have here today, one that's coiled. That way, it'll be high up off the ground when you're going straight, but stretch out whenever you're making those turns and whatnot. Another good option as far as tow bars go, that's kind of in line with the Avail, if you're just looking for different options, is the Roadmaster Nighthawk. That one's really well built, shares a lot of the same features. With that said though, a lot of that tow bar is made from aluminum, so it's a little bit lighter, a little more manageable, easier on your back when you're hooking it up. And there's a couple variations of that one too. So some of them come included with the Blue Ox ends, and then you can get the Roadmaster ends on it as well. So regardless of what base plate you got, you know, you could pick and make everything match up as far as that goes. You are able to actually store the tow bar on the back of your coach when you're not hooked up to your vehicle if you want to, and you can do that temporarily or permanently. You know, it folds up and goes off to the side. I do recommend, especially if you're going to do it permanently, to pick up some locking hitch pins just to secure it to your motorhome, as well as a bag or a cover to put over it just to help keep the weather off of it. But other than that, at the end of the day, you know, a really well built tow bar that is a great matchup for the Grand Cherokee L. But with all that said, I think that'll about do it for our look at of the Blue Ox Avail tow bar on our 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee L.